The party
Guy
was lame to me.
Fieri.
Fieri.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I am being joined by my sister, Vetta.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing? You doing good?
Good.
Good. All right. Yeah. And on this episode, we are being joined by a special guest, Cahd from Screen Invaders podcast. Cahd, how you doing, dude?
Hey, doing good. I'm excited you brought me on, guys. This is gonna be so much fun.
I'm excited we brought you on too, also. And on this episode, you guys, we are going to be reviewing the movie Body of Evidence, which was picked by our guest, Cahd.
And I would like to say, guys, I want to simultaneously say I'm sorry and you're welcome if you had not experienced this movie before, because boy, I knew what I was doing with this. And
well, I'm not accepting your apology. I am thanking you.
Okay, yes.
I'm so happy about this movie. You have no idea. All right, let me tell you guys. Yeah, let me tell you guys a little bit about this movie. When an elderly millionaire is found dead with cocaine in his system, his will leaves $8 million to Rebecca Carlson, who was having an affair with him. District Attorney Robert Garrett decides to prosecute Rebecca, arguing that she deliberately engaged in wild sex with an old man to overexcite him and lead him to his premature death. Defense attorney Frank Dulaney defends Rebecca in court while getting sucked into a dangerous affair with her. I'm already loving the synopsis of this movie. I just want to say that right now. Okay, so before we get started on this, real quick, I have to ask the most important question of the night, and that is, what are you drinking? Cahd, we're going to start out with you since you are our guest. What are you drinking tonight?
Not sponsored, guys. But tonight I have a Sweetwater Brewing Company G13 Hazy IPA. It kind of tastes like weed.
Nice.
It's a little bit weird, but it tastes pretty good, man.
And if they want to sponsor us, we'll totally take it. It's fine.
Please sponsor.
Yeah, and they can pay us in alcohol. I have an addiction, so it's fine.
Oh my god, me too.
All right, Vetta, what are you drinking?
So, you know me, I like doing the themed drinks. So
yes,
I am drinking a dick sucker.
Oh. Nice. What is in that? I'm excited to hear.
I am too. It's blue, which won me over immediately.
I did save it here for you guys so I could give you everything that's in it. So it has pear vodka, blueberry schnapps, soda water, and Sprite.
That sounds lit.
Sounds good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
It's not as sweet as you would think it would be, which is nice. It's too sweet, and then you get like gut rot. So this one's pretty good, but it's definitely blue. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I like it.
It's gonna look like I sucked a Smurf's dick when I'm done drinking it.
Is there any other kind? Anyway,
YOLO, Vetta. We YOLO on this channel, right?
For sure. Well, I am drinking because I'm trying to lose weight, so I'm drinking low calorie drinks. So I am drinking a vodka and soda water. So
that's actually my favorite cocktail.
Right on, yeah. Yeah, so and then I do have a backup, which is one of these Smirnoff red, white, and berry things because they're delicious also. Okay. Anyways, so let's get into this movie, and I want to ask you guys real quick, had you, before we watched it for this podcast, had you seen this movie before? Chad, I'll start with you.
Yes, and I would love to tell just a very quick story about how this movie came into my life.
Yeah.
So, I was younger. I'm old. I'm 46, guys.
Me too.
So, we're sisters.
We don't need to give ages around here. It's fine.
Okay, right.
But in case anybody's asking, 29.
Okay, right. We all believe you.
For sure.
I've been 29 now for like 10 times in a row, but it's fine.
Okay,
right. Go ahead. All right, tell your story. I'm excited to hear it.
But growing up, I didn't really have a whole lot of restrictions put on what I was allowed to watch or anything like that. Like I had HBO in my room as early as like second grade and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I went to the video store a ton. I've always been a movie lover. And I remember when this movie came out, I was a Madonna fan. Um, and I was excited about this movie. And when it came to my local video store in a small town in Ohio, I was just beside myself with excitement. So I went in to rent this movie. I was in there all the time. But this, for the very first time, was the one movie that they would not rent to me.
Mm.
So I had to get my mother to actually go in and rent this for me. And she did because she loved me and she was an amazing woman. But yeah, that's how this came into my life. I was too young and my mother willingly rented it for me.
No, I love that.
Oh, and then it absolutely damaged me, kind of, but also like made me whole in a way. I don't know.
Right on.
I've always had a special feeling toward body evidence.
No, I love that story. Vetta, had you seen this movie before?
I would like to say yes, because I feel like I was kind of the same way, went through a whole Madonna phase, but even after watching it, I don't remember it. And can I just say that this movie is like on par? You said you had HBO. This is totally a Skinamax movie. And for those that are too young, before porn was at your fingertips on the computer, you had to stay up late at night and watch Cinemax, because after like 1 o'clock in the morning, all the soft porn would come on. And I feel like this was like a preview. Like this would have been like the 11 o'clock movie that led into the soft porn that they showed. I feel like
I think they were trying to capitalize on that like 90s erotic thriller, like body, or like a Basic Instinct.
Oh my gosh, which I have that in my notes,
but like a year later. So
yeah, which I just want to say, I have this in my notes, but I'll mention now since you mentioned that when I sat down to watch this and we got through that like first scene or whatever, my wife looks at me, she's like, "Are we watching a porno?" And I was like, I hope so. I'm
turning out tonight, baby.
I had seen this movie before, but I just didn't. I mean, I remembered the only part that I remembered not in detail was the garage sex scene, which I want to talk about. But I did remember that scene. I just remember her breaking glass, and I remember like back in the day when I first watched it, thinking, didn't they get really hurt during that? Because when you're rolling around on glass and everything, which I do want to talk about that scene. I also just want to say that I cannot watch horny movies with my wife because I was getting blood flow and like 10 minutes in, I was all like, Loverboy's ready, just so you know. I am ready. So
Loverboy, your alter ego.
That's it. Okay. So I do, since you had mentioned Basic Instinct, I just want to say this real quick and then, we'll open it up or whatnot. But I did write down this opening scene. I just was like, are they trying to copy the opening scene from Basic Instinct? Because she's like full throttle, all like, yeah, boy, this is going on, everything. And I was just like, I'm getting Basic Instinct vibes. Okay. Now, we don't need to follow anything. We can jump all over the place, talk about whatever you guys want to, but I have 2 pages of notes and I want to talk about all of it because
I took some rando notes last night for sure.
Oh my God. I have so many, you guys, I have so many thoughts about this movie, but I just want to say overall, I just love this movie. Like, I can't even say how much I love this movie. I do love the dead guy's house though. I'm a huge whore for architecture and like, anyways. Okay. Vetta, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's going to be a good, like, situation. Like I said, I don't remember this. I'm sure I probably saw it because I have Madonna in it, but I don't remember it. And when you're like 3 minutes and 55 seconds in and the cop picks up nipple clamps and goes, what are
I noted, I made it.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
This is going somewhere for sure.
Yes, let's talk about that. What were you gonna say, Chad? Go ahead. You had written down the nipple clamps. Go ahead.
No, it's one of my first notes in this. I was like, nipple clamps within the first 2 minutes. I mean, it was just so right at the fucking beginning of this.
They're just sitting in the opening scene on a table. And I was like, oh, they're just showing though. And then I just was cracking up when that cop picked him up and was like, what are these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine reading that script and being like, how am I going to approach nipple clamps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just kept thinking about that through the whole thing. I'm like, how do you approach like some of this dialogue and some of this?
Exactly. And I want to mention, because I wrote it down because I was okay at the very first scene. So there's those markings on the bedposts or whatnot, and the guy that's supposed to be like taking in the scene and writing stuff down, he goes, the forensic guy, he's like, it looks like somebody was chewing on the bedpost. And he's like, and then the lawyer guy goes, those are handcuff marks. And I go, you mean the guy that this is his professional job thought that this bedpost looked like a chewed number 2 pencil instead of I was like, how bad are these people in Portland at their job? Like, these cops are bad at their job. I have another comment later on, but I'm just like, I was like, what an asshole. I'm like, I just wrote down, I don't think that the cops and lawyers of Portland are very good at their jobs. I just don't.
Yeah, when they're up on the stand, when the medical examiner's on the stand, he was.
I have thoughts about the courtroom scene. I just want to say right now, I love sassy black Judge Judy. Love her.
She just always looks like she smells something bad.
Oh my God, I love every moment of her. I could watch a whole like movie of just her doing cases. Like if she had I don't like where you're going with that counselor. If she said that one more time.
Clear this again.
Get there quick because I'm sick and tired of looking at you this close. Oh my God, she was just like my favorite in that courtroom.
She wanted to throw someone in jail for contempt so bad. Like that's
oh my God, right?
I feel like she's right on edge the whole time.
I was expecting her to do it because I'm like, go Black Judge Judy, do it. I was like, put him in contempt. And she didn't do it once. She just kept letting him like weave their line of bullshit. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm down with this. I love it.
The fact even that this kind of becomes like a courtroom drama at all, I thought was just wild.
It was really crazy.
It's like an extended version of Law and Order with some nudity every now and then.
Yeah, facts.
Some very long nudity. I think the longest is like 6 minutes or something like that. And I was like, this is a long time for a sex scene. I'm all like,
honestly, Madonna looks hot,
she's great. Yeah. She's got at one point her abs. I'm like, God, her abs look great. I was like, Madonna was in really good shape.
Back during her whole she was still singing and touring. So I mean, she was.
And didn't she just have that sex book come out? What was that name of that book that she wrote?
I think just Sex.
Oh, okay, yeah. Didn't she just have that? I don't know when it came out.
Lie or something like that. I can't remember.
It was like that documentary where it was like her backstage. Yeah, that was hot too, and that was just like her concert thing.
It's too bad her acting though is just not so hot. She's a terrible actress, unfortunately. But that's what makes this such a special experience. Like if this had been with someone who could act or whatever, this would not have worked nearly as well for me personally.
Right.
Like I know I was watching trash, but this is top level trash. Right. Like this is exactly the thing I think of when you think of a good bad movie.
Right on. I did write down some stuff about Madonna. Okay, first off, I don't know if it was every character or if it was just Madonna, but the lighting on her, it was one light a strip around her eyes and then the rest was shadow, and I was like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Are we supposed to be it's a mystery? I'm like, no. I'm like, she did it. I think she did it because she's but at the same time I want to talk about that. And then I also wrote down Madonna in this movie dates/fucks a lot of ugly men. They are very unattractive at all.
Willem Dafoe is not attractive. Agreed.
Which I just want to be all I think that's a crime in itself, and she should be put on trial for fucking dead men or ugly men. They're just
okay. She was more interested in their pocketbooks than
exactly.
What they look like.
I mean, I guess so, but
and I can get into it, bitch. I could.
Yeah, no, yeah, but
I could relate.
Last thing I wrote down about Madonna that I have right on this page was never trust anybody that lives on a houseboat. I don't trust anybody that lives on it. If you live on water, we cannot be friends. I'm sorry, that's just crazy.
One of my notes says literally, I would dead ass live in a houseboat. I love that shit.
What if it sank in which by the way, her houseboat, okay, so it was just glass doors, and then you walk in and it's like fucking Caesar's palace in there. She had a fucking vase in the middle of her living room. I'm like, what's going on in this house?
That's not a houseboat. at all. I feel like that was, she's never taken that for a spin around the lake.
Well, you're not driving this house.
For sure. I felt like it was like the Wizard of Oz. Like they filmed a house
like
and then the inside isn't. Yeah, exactly. It's a totally different house. Like they're like, well, this is the interior of her boathouse, but this is the exterior of her boathouse and everything. But
what was she? She was like an art dealer or like a
She owned a gallery because later on in the movie she says something like, I own a gallery. That's how I meet these men or some crap like that. I can't remember off the top.
I mean, legit.
Yeah,
so
totally
I could never live on a houseboat because like our parents have a water bed and
I
just know I've slept on a water bed a couple times and I have dreams about drowning. Plus, if you've ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, one of the characters when he dies gets sucked into the waterbed and his mom pulls off
because there's a chick
and he's right there.
With
right
awesome titties,
Right now, actually, for the Scene Invaders channel, I'm working on a video essay for the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a very formative movie for me, so
right on.
Good reference. Good reference.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but when they pull Madonna in, okay, real quick. Willem Dafoe meets his client at the funeral. I thought that was really weird. I don't know if any of you thought that was weird, but
definitely
he just shows up and he's like, how'd you guess I'm the lawyer? You're the only one talking to me. And I'm all like, wait, what? I'm like, the lawyer would talk to, like, and then I'm the whole time I'm like, did she invite him to the funeral to talk to her, or did he just show up because he knew she would be there? Like, is she hard to, I had so many questions about that. And I was like,
is the cemetery close to his office?
Exactly.
Or is he driving by? What's going on? Why are they meeting in a cemetery?
Exactly. And then they pull her in to question her, right, about this murder. And then she answers their questions, right? And then they're like, he's like, that's all my clients, that's all the questions for today or whatever. And they go to leave and he's like, unless you're gonna arrest her. And then they arrest her, and I'm just like, I don't think they have enough evidence to arrest her and take her to trial. Like, they're like, this is all like, did you fuck him? Yes. You're going to jail, bitch.
Exactly.
Like, what's going on here? What's going on here?
Little Miss Bitter Assistant and her word wasn't enough yet at this point. So
oh my god. Ann Archer. I have so many things to say about Ann Archer. Like, you guys, I the whole time watching this, because I forgot what the ending was. I wrote down I have theories. I had theories going through this movie of what the ending was going to be, and none of them worked out. Not one theory worked out. Like, I was like, when we find out that Madonna did kill him, I'm all like, oh, well, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I literally thought everybody else killed him except for Madonna.
Yeah. I totally was like, was this like a previous boyfriend, especially the doctor, because the cocaine was in the eye drops, and I'm like, oh, he could have. How do we know that, since he's ruined his career, he didn't get a job as a farmer?
Oh, did I lose both of you?
Hello.
Okay, Vetta, can you say that again? We lost you halfway through your sentence.
I was just saying, I totally was buying that it could have been the doctor with the whole cocaine being in the eye drops and everything.
The creepy thin man when he was like pumping her with nails. When she walked in, I was like, oh, this is so weird and everything. And she's like, do you have time? I have an appointment. I'm like, well, are we just meeting at appointments now? This woman has the weirdest meetings with her lawyer. Like, it's crazy. And then she's like, is it still raining? I'm like, bitch, you can't hear it. It's raining. I can hear it.
It made me die when he pulled her medicine off the shelf or whatever, and it was like a white powder that looks like cocaine or whatever.
Right.
But this bitch grabbed that little vial of medicine and stuck her little thing in it, and then she put that shit right on her hand in a very, like, I've done coke 9 million times kind of way. Because allegedly, maybe...
No, she hasn't done it in Oregon, guys. Come
on.
on.
I have that no, bitch. Yes.
I think she did do when Ann Archer said she saw her doing cocaine. I think it was cocaine. She just found this voodoo doctor that was all like, I'll lie and say it was aspirin. Like, get the hell out of here.
Dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
For sure. She was crossing something.
I don't know how wayward y'all are, but hi, I've led a somewhat wayward lifestyle. I have partied once or twice. And what I would like to assure you is that, especially as an elderly man, if you're giving that motherfucker cocaine, shit don't work. Okay. Like, even when I was younger and like my shit worked all the time, cocaine was the one thing that made sure that it didn't. So
right on.
You might need a Viagra to even have a fighting chance at like some kind of shit like that working. And Viagra wasn't available in the mid 90s. So
okay, so if you guys wouldn't mind, unless you have something else you want to really talk about, I would like to talk about Julianne Moore for just a hot second. Yes, okay,
please. She's one of my favorite actresses.
Oh my god, I love her so much. And I'm not gonna lie, she looks great in this movie. Like
she looks great always, all the time.
But that's what I was like. Julianne Moore looks great now. Like I'm all like, Julianne Moore is totally fuckable now. She looks great now. She looked great then. I just love her in this movie. But okay, so I have to ask you a question because I didn't know. Julianne Moore and Willem Dafoe are married.
Yes.
Okay, so is the kid, that's their kid? Is that his kid?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, so at least, yeah, that's what I'm gathering.
Okay, so I thought that because I was like, if that's not his kid, I want to know what happened there. Like that's another movie I want to watch because I'm like, they're like I was liking their dynamic as a couple, and then I did write down though that his conversation with that kid was very inappropriate. That was like 10. I was like,
weird.
Yeah, he was all like, and then because because the kid's like, can you really kill someone by screwing them to death? And he's like, no, you can't. And he's like, and then he said something, but you don't have to worry about that. And then he goes, do you? And I was like, this kid's like 10. What do you think he's fucking at 10? Okay. Like, what's going on? Like,
if you could kill someone by trying to fuck them to death, I would be a serial killer because I tried and it's not possible, guys.
So isn't that the way we would all want to go if that's the case?
That is how I would want. Yeah, it's facts. That is facts. Okay. Yeah, because he he's like, is that something I need to worry about? And the kid's like, no, and he's like, because if I did, you'd get you're a good looking kid. And I'm like, did he just give him the equivalent of you be smashing all the pussy and everything? I was like, you can't talk to your kids like that young. Come on.
Give him a few, at least like maybe 4 or 5 years.
Right on.
In the teens, at least.
Puberty. Come on.
Right on. Okay. And then I just, like I said before, she was having sex with a lot of unattractive men. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the sex scenes, if you guys are cool with that. Great, oh, yes. Great. I love that we're all in the same boat. Okay. So I love the elevator hand job with a million people around. I was all like, listen, don't get me wrong. I like to spice things up a little bit, but I don't want somebody watching me. I'm not that kind of girl.
The elevator was so quiet. How did they not hear the zipper?
Exactly. And what's going on P4? Because everybody got off on P4. I was like, what's going on P4?
They were probably all like, you know what, bitch? We better get off on this.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. We heard the zipper. She thinks we didn't hear everything. We need to get off this elevator. Yes. And then they get onto this parking garage, which all of a sudden it's become nighttime. I don't know about you guys, but was it like super daytime before they got on and they got off?
Because she broke the light.
It just turned to nighttime. I was like, I think we time traveled a little bit here. But so he's all like, people will see us. And then she gets up on the thing and she breaks the light. And then she starts they start having sex or whatnot. And I just was like, people can still see you. You just because you commit, break stuff.
Car. She just climbed up on, broke the glass, scratched it all up with the glass.
She knows what she wants, guys.
Right on. Okay, so here's where my first theory started. Okay, so when he goes to her house for the first time to have sex with her, and then some random person spots him down by the river because Julianne Moore, she's all like, somebody saw your car down by the river, and I'm all like, who is watching him by the river? Okay, but okay, so then. He goes into her house, right? And then she jumps at him like a little love goblin and everything. And then so he tears her shirt in that one, right? And then she or maybe that wasn't it, but later on he tears her shirt. But then she drips the candle wax on him, right? And he gets all those like burns, right? So that right there was my first like, interesting. And then during this sex scene in the garage, right, he lays down on the glass and tears his back up and he gets like some glass on his thing. So my first theory while watching this was like, oh my God, she killed him, but she's going to make it look like Willem Dafoe killed him. And all the scars and stuff is going to play an info. That did not happen. I was like, oh, Well, that was a letdown a little bit.
See, you know what's happening? He's got all these theories because there are sex scenes and that his brain cannot break away. So he's like, I got to think about something else.
Okay, right.
Ooh, which can we, I'm sorry, I keep jumping all over the place, but you just mentioned him having thoughts and everything. So when they are in the restaurant, right? And she's like, I can tell when people have, secret desires. He's like, is there anybody here in the restaurant? And they're like looking around and everything. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not going to say. And he's like, who? And she's like, he doesn't know it yet. And I'm like, well, clearly you're talking about him, Willem Dafoe. Duh. I'm like, any idiot could tell. But can I ask you guys a question? Her strawberry story
I've
noticed. What did you want to say about it? Go ahead.
No, I made a note of it. So no, go ahead.
Like she's all like, I climbed over a fence and it scratched up my knees, but it made the strawberries taste so sweet. And I'm like, or you could just bought some, or just like, not hurt. I was like, I was like, already your story's not tracking, honey. I'm like, strawberries are just strawberries. I'm like, I've never tasted strawberry, but like, this tastes better because I, cut my hand or whatever. Yeah, I'm just like,
it's just it's so insane. Like whoever wrote this, like, I would love to know what you're on, how much you drink, like whatever was going on.
And I want you to write my movie because I'm all about this shit.
Okay. I'm trying to be an erotic thriller.
Okay, one more thing also with the restaurant. When they were bringing out the birthday cake, when they introduced this scene, right? I was like, is it her birthday? And then they didn't come to the table and they put the cake to another table. I was like, oh, okay, it's not her birthday. And I was like, or is it her birthday? And they just didn't bring a cake. I was like, I wanted, because they were like looking at the cake and they were like, looking over their shoulder, like, oh, whose birthday is it? Everything. I was like, I felt like something told me like, oh, they missed her table. They meant to bring the cake to her table, but they didn't. But yeah, I love that's where I also noticed the light on her eyes. I was like, what's going on with their eyes? There's just light on their eyys. Like, what is that? What's going on here?
And what was with that cake? That was like a Walmart birthday cake. That was not a high-end restaurant birthday dessert. They don't do cake. They do like fancy desserts. They went by Walmart where it's like, here we go.
We're like Karen behind the counter, just like some shit onto it. Like
she's like, guys, I worked at Dairy Queen for 2 weeks last summer. I can write happy birthday. And it'll be great.
Yeah, they're all like, I need birthday singers. Okay.
Like all back to our movie.
Ooh, I wrote this down, but I should have asked you guys earlier. Okay. Did you guys think that this movie had, with the sex scenes, okay? Because the sex scenes, like I said, were very like long. Like I was like, oh, this is a long sex scene. Did you guys think this movie had not enough sex scenes, just enough sex scenes, or too many sex scenes? Because go ahead, I'll let you answer because I have my answer. And
go ahead,
Vetta, yeah, you go first.
I was gonna say, I think it was just too many of the same shot. Like I feel like they wanted to show Madonna's boobs so bad, and they're nice boobs. I get it. I would want to show mine too if they were that nice and perky all the time. Same. But I'm old. They're not. So
Same.
I hear you.
So I go, they could have done so much more. Like when the doctor was up giving testimony, they could have done a flashback of her and him.
I want to talk about that
guy, her with the girl that her and what the hell is his name from Criminal Minds? I can never remember his name. The other attorney,
Joe Mantegna.
Which I kept real quick story. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I kept calling him Joe Montana, and my wife was all like, "Is that his name?" I'm like, no, but I just love calling him that. Yeah. Okay, but finish your thing. I love it.
No, I was just gonna say when she's on the stand and she goes, "Even you and I've slept with a girl that you dated." I'm like, why didn't we get a flash of that?
Dude, there was so much about this movie that took place within the crevices of this movie that I'm all like, I could watch another like 2 hours of this. Like
definitely,
we could just kind of get those out there, those little light posts and everything. What about you, Chad? Did you think this had enough, too much, not enough? What'd you think? Wait, real quick, Vetta, you thought it had enough, they were just too long of scenes?
It was just the same thing over and over. Like I feel like
variety.
Yeah.
Like
that's
anal?
what I was saying.
Okay.
Like I was just
I'm dead.
It was fine how it was. I just would have liked more of a variety.
Okay, I'm stupid. I don't understand what you mean, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. All right, Chad, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You tell me what you thought now.
For me, what I kept thinking through this whole entire thing, I mean, I've seen it a number of times for sure, but it has been a while since I watched it until last night. And what I kept thinking is, God, I wish more movies today would do stuff like this. I definitely see where you're coming from, Vetta, and it can feel a little bit samey, I think, with the sex scenes. But my God, like movies nowadays just don't go this hard,
They
or
don't.
no, not even like really close in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, they have like what is it, intimacy coordinators?
Oh
I was like,
Lord, no.
what a
And
gross
every
word.
girl keeps
We don't have
their
time for that.
bra on in a sex scene nowadays. Like, what girl keeps her bra on unless you're 16 years old and trying to have a quickie before mom and dad get home?
Exactly.
Yeah,
No
I
grown
feel
ass adult keeps their bra on.
right.
for
Yeah.
sex.
And if you do, you push it up above your tits. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And yeah, I'm just like, while watching movies nowadays when they have intimacy coordinators, I just want to be like, I don't think these intimacy coordinators have ever had sex before, because this is not like sexy. It's sex, but without
Yeah.
the sexy part of
It's
it.
very perfunctory. And I thought,
Yeah.
honestly, like, I guess your people do not know me. Hi, I'm a homosexual. So I, even though that is the case, like I found this movie to, during those moments, actually like kind of be sexy. I was like, they're
Yeah.
really like, they're kind of pushing the boundaries of what you can show on screen. There is like an unrated version of this. I'm not sure exactly
What?
how. No, there is. I don't know exactly where it is.
I
Or how
wish I
you
would have
find
got
it,
that copy.
right?
I just watch. I just
didn't have
yeah,
that.
Tubi.
I watched it on
was
Tubi. Hell
yeah.
So I don't know how much more you could. I mean, I guess you could push it quite a bit more, but for me, I think it was the right amount, because I think if you push it up too much more, it would have gotten into potentially like this is sort of not fun anymore, because you're missing out on this like all this like lurid courtroom and like mystery like stuff that's surrounding it, in place of just kind of just sex for sex sake.
When this movie came out in the 90s, these types of movies were borderline, like, almost not getting a rating, because these types of sex scenes were a big deal. I mean, now it's not, which is so funny that it's not such a big deal now. Yet there aren't as many of them, if that makes sense, that are like this.
Well, I think everybody's just become so sensitive kind of to everything.
Right.
And I think that filmmakers and everything are just a little bit afraid to push the envelope too much.
I agree.
In the name of like sullying their name or whatever.
Well,
and I wish people would get over that.
Yeah,
Me too.
because
This
movies
shit
are
is fun.
supposed to be an
It is
expression
fun.
of art. So when you are casting, you put there's going to be extreme nudity and sex scenes.
Sure.
And you hire some people that are okay with it.
Yeah, you know what you bought. Like if you went to see Body of Evidence or Basic Instinct or anything like that, you know what you bought a ticket for.
Yep.
You kind of knew what you were getting into. And nowadays,
but back then
there's
people were
almost
also
nothing
looking
like
around
that.
the movie theater going, is anyone I know in here?
Okay, facts.
Yeah, I
Is
just
Janet from down the block.
And if she is, yeah, and if she is, does she want to jerk me off? You know what I'm saying?
Is Janet DTF?
Yeah, no, I wrote down, but now that you said that, Chad, I kind of agree with you. I wrote down there wasn't enough sex scenes. Like I was just like after she went to the voodoo doctor, whatever the hell he was with his Chinese medicine and everything. I was just like, all right, so medicine. I was like, are they gonna start fucking on that massage table with the thorns in her back or whatever? I was like, yeah, like I was
and with the guy just right outside, that would have been spectacular.
Honestly, that's a scene that would have been one that wouldn't have still pushed it too far for me, and honestly would have been so hilarious and so fucking crazy that like
and like you said, they were pushing the boundaries, because when she like starts fingering herself, I was just like, oh wow, I was like, I don't remember this, so this is and then she's had the abs. I was like Madonna is looking good, man.
Well, even toward the beginning, like when you have Willem Dafoe and Julianne Moore, like they have a sex scene toward the beginning. She's always like, you're so hot when you have a big case or whatever the fuck. And I mean, like even their sex scene, while it's not necessarily graphic, it's close. And
Yeah.
you're like, I mean, you're seeing like
And
skin on skin and like
very
you're
sweaty.
close.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
very like she was like, I need a shower, which I just want to say, that's how you know they were doing it right. You know what I'm saying?
On God, bitch. That's the way.
Okay. I was gonna bring up something else, but I want to talk. I'll just talk about this because I wrote down, I want to talk about the courtroom scenes, but first I want to talk about something else. Okay. So I wrote down again that the police are really bad at their job, and so are the lawyers, because in the middle, like almost towards the end of this movie, right? You get a knock on the door, and they're like, "We watched the rest of the tape," and I'm like, "You didn't watch the rest of the tape before the trial?" I'm like, "What's going on here?" I was like, I was like, why did she hire this man and his law firm? They just suck at their job. All right.
They all needed a break after a certain point. Like, oh, hold on, let me recover before
There's
I
only
finish
so
this.
much sex you
guys
can watch.
You guys, I've already used up
Come on.
all my tissues. I need a hot minute. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
right.
finish the tape. I'll finish the rest of the tape.
He's
Okay.
like, I better go home and see my wife, otherwise she's gonna start wondering.
Right. But okay, so now when they watch that tape and they play the end of it, right? Now I don't know what. Now it ends up being Ann Archer, which I love. Ann Archer. She also looks great. She's got great tits, everything. But when she was all swirling around, okay, did any of you for a hot second think that it was Julianne Moore? Because
Yes.
for a hot second,
yes.
I was like, because every time something would happen, I thought this movie was going to take a different direction. And I was like, oh my God, is that Julianne Moore? After she just gave him a lecture about fucking her and everything. And I'm all like, but Julianne Moore's fucking the dead guy, or now
That would have been
fucking...
brilliant.
Oh my God. I was, and then when it turned out to be Ann Archer, I was like, okay, I'm not mad that it's Ann Archer, but how great would that have been if it was Julianne Moore? I was
oh
like,
my God.
So you had a ton of theories. My theory, and it never changed, but I got very excited because I thought the same thing. But I got excited again at the end on the boathouse when Madonna's talking to somebody and he can't see who she's talking to. A part of me was like, dear God, please let it be Julianne Moore. They've been setting him up the whole time.
Dude, I want to just say, I thought it was going to be Ann Archer.
Oh.
I thought that they were having a relationship. So I was all like, how great would it be if it was Ann Archer and Madonna? And they're like, yeah, we're going to take down these powerful men. And we're like, we're like strong bitches on the sides, and they don't pay attention to us and everything. And then when it ended up being that fugly doctor, I was like, well, this is letting me down a little bit. I was excited for a hot second. Yeah, the whole time I'm just like, oh, that would have been so good if it was Ann Archer. I did write down in all caps, the law in this movie is terrible.
Okay, right.
So I would like to move over to the courtroom scenes, if you guys don't mind.
Oh,
yes,
they're
please.
amazing.
Again, I can't get enough of sassy black judge. I love her so much. I could have watched I could have watched a movie of just her and everything. It was great. Okay, I love how they brought in Dracula, right? And he's all like, yes, I dated her, and then she stopped dating me because I had heart surgery. And I'm all like, what? I was like, what's going on here? I'm like, already his story wasn't tracking to me. Like, I was just like, I was like, you don't just date somebody because they have, they get their bum hip fixed and everything. Like, that's weird. And I love how Madonna was all like, you got to put me on the stand. And he's all like, no, that's not happening. And she's like, they won't believe it unless it comes from me. I'm like, bitch, I wouldn't believe it if you came from you. You are like, and it goes back to what I said before. Like, they didn't have enough evidence to arrest her, but slowly the evidence came out while this trial is going on. And I'm all like, I don't think the writer of this movie knows how court works, because you got to get your evidence and then go to court. And if I was a judge, the black judge should have just thrown it out automatically. She'd be like, you guys, she had sex with him. That's not a crime. So I'm all like, but, and then I did write down, I was like, it sucks that Madonna, I don't remember her name. I just kept writing Madonna. It sucks that Madonna.
Wait, hold on. I made a note of it.
It's like
Rebecca Carlson.
Rebecca Carlson. I was like, it sucks that she's on trial for fucking. That's sad. I was like, that's so sad.
But such a 90s thing.
Yeah, dead ass for sure.
Okay, so they bring in Dracula, right? And I love how, like, a million scenes later, right, they put Madonna on the stand. okay? And she's all like, and she's asking, and she's crying, and I'm all like, oh girl, get over it, okay? Yeah, step your pussy up. And she's all like, and she's all crying, and then she's talking about Dracula. I don't remember his name either, but he's like, is it true that you left him after he got his ticker fixed and you couldn't kill him? And she's like, no, I left him because I found him in bed with someone else. And he's like, you're trying to tell me that you left him because he slept with, I thought you were all adventurous and sexy. She's like, I left him because he wasn't with another woman, he was with another man. and they're all like, oh no, and they're like, oh, and everything. And I love, and I'm all like, and then I can't remember exactly what was said.
Oh, he goes, oh, you can say that now because he's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, yes. And then she's like, I can say that because he's in the court. And I'm all like, first off, and I love how everybody turns in. They're like, they all take a gasp in. Like, I'm all like, all right, time out. Is the gay dude now on trial? Is he the criminal, you motherfuckers? Because they are looking at him like he's a criminal. And he is like bowing in shame. And I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on here? This is insane to me. This is nuts. Yeah. And then,
see, that would have made it a porno then if she would have just hopped into bed with him and his new friend.
That was God. Yeah, I loved it. And then I did love how they found her innocent and she got the 8 million. And then the end scene where Jack, is that his name? We'll just say Jack.
Oh wait, I want to talk about the medical examiner in the courtroom.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Worst. Please, dear God, if I'm murdered, don't let him be my medical examiner.
Please.
Everything he said just sounded like, he was throwing it out there. Like, is that right? Like,
that was kind of like, that was sort of like,
you're like, I'm not a lawyer, but that's your opinion. Why is no one objecting? Your opinion is not fact.
Exactly. Right? But kind of like, as far as like every kind of like court or like cop or like medical examiner, everything here, like nobody understood how any of that worked across the board. And that's also like why this is a delight because it's just so off base.
He was the type of medical examiner that couldn't tell if the bruising came from that night or earlier. I'm like, I'm pretty sure medical examerners can tell you that
this is your job.
That's so funny that you brought that up. That's so true. That's good. I love that.
It made me giggle. Like every time he said something, I was like, why are we letting him keep talking? He's making it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Like as a juror, I would have been like, I say innocent. You guys, like, this is really bad. Like, we're on day 3 and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Like the witness or whatever the fuck. Like,
how old jurors, that's mom's going, I can tell how a bruise on my 2-year-old, whether it's a week or a month old. Come on.
Oh, that's so good. Gosh, that's good. I love it.
He was my favorite witness out of the whole thing.
Oh my God,
he was good. He was pretty great. Okay,
so now you can go to the houseboat.
Yeah, okay. So he goes to her houseboat, which I'm telling you right now, houseboats, like that whole thing weirds me out. But okay. So he finds out that she killed him. So she really was the murderer because she gave him the cocaine, but she knew about him through the doctor and everything.
So the prosecution was 100% correct.
Correct. Yeah, he was correct. Yeah. So she goes to get her gun because the doctor is pissed, right? And him and Willem Dafoe start fighting because, lovers quarrel.
He doesn't know she was sleeping with everybody.
Yeah. Which I loved her. I loved how she's like, I fucked Jack. I fucked, doctor. I fucked, old man Dracula. She's like, that's what I do. I fuck. And I'm all like, okay, your application is accepted. Thank you. And everything.
Sounds lit.
Yeah, sounds great. And everything. And so they start fighting. So she goes to grab her gun and he throws Doctor over the balcony and Doctor is not dead because he gets the gun and shoots Madonna. And she goes flying out the window and dies.
That window flying.
It was great.
I was scream laughing in my living room last night. My dogs were like, Dad, are you okay?
Yeah. Well, because she looked like she was like doing like a bird front motion. And then she just like that. And I was like, what's going on here? What's going on? But I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. Because then it's great when the 2 lawyers at the very end are standing on the balcony where she went out the window. And there's a sidewalk between the boat and the water, and she's in the water.
But she's in the water.
My favorite line right at the end there too from her was like, thanks. You almost had me convinced. I was like, yes, Mitch. That's how you play this shit. Hell yeah.
So now my question is, where does the 8 million go now that she's dead? Where's that 8 million go? It's stuck in limbo. I think it should go to Ann Archer.
Just gonna take it.
Yeah,
Ann Archer she was the MVP here, and I think she should just kind of walk away with everything.
God, and even then I was just like, oh, we can still pull out like a surprise and have her just like come out of the shadows and be like, just be all like, it's all mine or whatever. I don't know.
I would love that.
Originally, man, Madonna must have been able to do it way better than Anne, because Anne was only getting 250,000 originally. Madonna got 8 million. And then when Madonna got the 8 million, Anne got bumped down to 10. I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Right on.
And can I just say again, because they're on a houseboat, every time we went to the houseboat, and even when the guy goes, I've never been on one of these before, all I thought about was Drop Dead Fred when he takes.
Oh my God. Yeah, because yeah, I do have a question. Like, our houseboats, like the Drop Dead Fred one, that was just a boat that she turned into a house. Do you think Madonna's houseboat is like floatable in like
they have to be able to move? They have to have a motor on them, I think, because they have to be able to
or at least be able to be like, or like be able to be, I imagine, like drugged somewhere by like a boat or something.
Actually float on their own.
I don't know enough about houseboats.
Well, I want to live in one. I disrespect your slander, sir, because I could absolutely live like that.
Ohio, because that's going to be.
No, I live in Florida.
Oh, okay, you can achieve that there. I was like, oh boy, you said Ohio. That's going to be a rough one.
No, that's where I originally lived. I lived in Florida for about 4 years.
You don't want to live on Lake Erie. That's gross.
No, oh god, no houseboats on Lake Erie. Nobody's looking for that for sure.
Yeah, no, I just no, you don't want to live on a houseboat. What if you get a leak? Are you like, am I sinking, or did a pipe burst? Like you're just like, I don't know, I couldn't handle it.
You're just like instantly acclimated to like the feeling of motion sickness.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being on a cruise ship just year round.
Yeah,
no, I don't like cruise ships, so there you go.
I've never been on one.
Me neither.
It's like a hotel on the ocean.
See, that sounds, I'm not sure. I'd have to drink a lot probably.
I can't do a cruise.
They ply you with alcohol. They're just like, oh, have a drink, have another one.
Yeah. They're like, you'll be fine, just have another Mai Tai or whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have gone through all of my notes. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we like wrap it up or anything?
No, you covered everything. Like I said, for me, and I put my 2 cents in, and I got my favorite juror in there. So I am
nice. Cahd, is there anything you want to mention before we wrap up?
Honestly, I thought you led this brilliantly. You just took us through the timeline of events of this masterpiece known as Body of Evidence in such a way that I couldn't have done it better, man. Like, well,
you guys are great good. Also, I can't tell you how much I love this movie. Before we go, though, I do want to ask one more question. Well, a couple more questions. Overall, what did you think about this movie? If you were like telling somebody about it, what did you think about it? And would you recommend this movie? Vetta, yeah, you go ahead, ladies first.
I would definitely go, because I did look. Basic Instinct is not free right now on any streaming service. This is free on Tubi.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go. It's free on Tubi. It's totally.
You can't.
If it was like $3.99, I'd be like, pay it. You'll love it. If the sex scenes alone, just rewind and watch them a couple times.
Oh yeah,
great. You'll get your money's worth. So I would definitely recommend it. Plus, I'm like, you know me, I like turning everything into a drinking game. You could totally be like, every time you see Madonna's boobs, do a shot. You'll be drunk by the time the movie's over. It's great.
And you'll have a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Cahd, what about you? What did you think about this movie overall, and would you recommend it?
I know that this is not a good movie in the traditional sense. Right. This is not cinema. That you're not watching for incredible writing or acting or any of that kind of shit. This is entertainment. And for me, this is hella entertaining. It is dumb as fuck. Yes. And I mean, that's exactly like kind of why I wanted to bring it here tonight. I thought it'd be so much fun to discuss, which of course it has been. And for the right person, for sure, I would recommend this so hard all day. Not as a general recommendation for everyone, but yes, for the right person and a lot of my friends and the people I know, absolutely, this is a solid recommend.
Right on. I love this movie. I mean, again, it's not good, but it's good. It's so
yeah,
good.
exactly. It's the perfect, like, so bad it's good.
Yeah, it's so
It's
good.
Sorry, not sorry type of recommendation.
Yeah, just like and then I would totally recommend. I'd be like, you need. If somebody asked me, I'd be like, listen, you need to watch this movie tonight. Like, go home, get on Tubi and watch it. Like, you will not be sorry, in my opinion. I just
clear your schedule, bitch.
Yeah, it's
get your notebook out.
Get your notebook for sure. Yeah. I was like, I usually take notes while I watch movies, but I was writing so fast. I was like, we have to pause it. I have to finish this thought and everything. And it was so much fun. I had so much fun watching this. I'm glad that you recommended it.
I'm so glad it was a good recommendation. I really kind of went into this, like, I looked through the channel to make sure I wasn't like duplicating something you hadn't seen. And I was like, hopefully maybe they haven't seen this. And I just couldn't think of something that was crazier or more fun to talk about.
Yeah, no.
But there are some other ones alongside this too. If I ever come back as a guest,
you will.
Oh, we'd love to have you back.
I've got a couple of other really good recommendations that are definitely going to like ride right alongside this that I think you'll have an absolute.
And we are all about the movies you love but hate at the same time.
Yes,
we're all about that because we definitely pick quite a few of those. I mean, I'm banned from picking movies with certain actresses.
Oh,
yeah. If it's got Bella Thorne, I don't like Bella
Thorne. And I gotta say, guys, I do have taste. I really do enjoy like movies and cinema and shit, but I also absolutely love this side of it too. And I think it's so important to have as just a kind of a resting zone of like, yes, this is what's fun to me and what I have a good time with. And
I tell people all the time, you've got to watch those movies that have terrible ratings because they are worth it. There is nothing I love more than going through Prime or any place, and if it's got 2 stars or 1 star, I'm like, oh bitch, I'm watching this.
Yeah, nothing deters me.
Yeah,
I will watch anything for sure. Sometimes those things move up and down my list as far as like a priority goes, but I will watch anything. I like to make up my own mind about things, and just like this movie proves, you can have so much fun with things that are notoriously seen as bad. But yeah, this is a delight, man. I love this movie.
Right on.
What do you think, Matt?
I told you I loved it. I thought it was so good. It was just.
What did your wife think of this?
Yeah,
I think that I didn't ask her full thoughts. I think she liked it, but like she kept saying, "Are we watching a porno?" And I'm like, and I just kept going, yes. Yes,
but that's 90s movies like this, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, listen, if I had seen this when I was younger, like I saw Basic, I would have totally jerked off to this movie. I was just I would have just like in the middle of the night, just on the couch, just all like, yeah, finger yourself, you whore, and everything. And so I was just like, I definitely, this movie is great, and everything.
I mean, I am a wax aficionado now after this movie.
Nice. All right, so go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I'm good.
I do think the wax was a little too hot. I don't think it came from a candle that hot.
I don't know why. There's something. Okay, we're not going to get too deep on this podcast tonight, but the wax scene was interesting.
I'm not into pain. I'm not into the pain thing. That's not my thing. But
candles don't get that hot because
that shit gets hot.
No,
that shit's hot.
It's hot. You ever spill candle wax on your finger and you're like and everything?
I just pop it right off.
Okay, well, listen, maybe you would like pain during your encounters.
She's a woman. She was meant to give birth and shit, so she's kind of maybe more accustomed and acclimated to pain than we are.
What'd you say? You came out of sunroof?
Mine came out of the sunroof.
Nice. Okay, well, Chad, tell us, where can we find you at and everything, and where does everybody know you from and everything, so that way our guests can find you.
All right, I am part of Scene Invaders. We just started a second channel on YouTube, which is Scene Invaders Podcast. We do an episode weekly of the podcast, which up until now has been audio only, but we are now putting the full video version of that on YouTube. And alongside that, we're creating other content, some solo content, definitely a lot of shorts, clips from the podcast, and subscribe, guys. Come check us out.
Yeah, go check it out. Yeah,
there will be a blast.
There will be a link to find, Cahd online, and there will be a link. All of his links and everything, so you guys can find everything, will be in the description down below.
And my Twitter too, Mr. B1003. Like, if you want to come, that's at your own risk. So come enjoy my Twitter if you want to.
I took a deep dive into it a couple of nights ago.
I was gonna say I get drunk sometimes and I post selfies and shit. So
okay,
that's where we're at here. That's where we're at.
I'm sorry. I like to get to know our guests.
Yeah. I read a couple, but I didn't go deep dive. Weirdo.
I think my Twitter, for the most part, is fairly wholesome. I really do try to keep it pretty okay.
And you correspond with anyone who responds to your tweets, and you do it in a funny way. I was reading one of your threads and I was just cracking up. I was like, that's funny.
I love my Twitter homies. I've made so many good friends literally because of that app, and you really can like create connections, and just like we've created tonight, like all sort of like in a roundabout way because of Twitter.
For sure, we're besties.
Make friends, create community, and
text me every 5 minutes.
Okay, brilliant. I'm gonna start DMing you nonstop
now.
I'm not hearing my phone beep.
Okay, but I do appreciate you guys having me on tonight.
Right on. All right. Well, right on. All right. So let's wrap it up there and everything. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review, guys. It really helps us out a lot, and we would really appreciate it, and all that good stuff. We'll also again be posting this video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there and subscribe. That is at YouTube at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Also, we have started a Patreon with plenty of different levels to suit any interests that you guys have. And on our Patreon, we go through different movie series. We've done Ghostbusters, we've done Scream, we did the Bring It On series. That was our first one. Really fun if you're interested in anything like that. And the link for that will be in the description down below. And also, you guys, the most important thing, don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.